so excited. Thank you guys for being patient. There are a few more people who are going to join in on the conversation. So I'm just giving people time to get in, grab your water, grab your little snacks, whatever it is you would like. This is really, really, really just a open conversation amongst all of us. So thank you guys for being here. Hey, Miss Janice. Jonay hopped on. Hey, Jojo. So we have a few of our partner spas on. And again, some people are coming back in a call. We literally just finished one call and transitioned straight over to here. So right now we have Miss Shonda. Hey, Miss Shonda. Wait a minute. It looks like the names are mixed up. That's Miss Stacy, right? But why does it say Miss Shonda? That's so interesting. Right? Am I losing my mind? Okay, so that's nurse practice. Thank you. That's nurse practitioner Stacy Hall. She's out of Ohio. And you will get to know each other throughout the call, different conversations. As I mentioned, this isn't an open conversation. Don't feel pressured like you need to be on camera. Feel free to sit back, chat, and chew. Drop things into the chat if you would like to. I put just a couple of little high level bullet points on just to give us some kind of like structure and guardrails of how we can open up this conversation and begin to fellowship about it, right? Um, I would like for Nurse K to get in here. Quinn, make sure Nurse K has the link. I saw her messaging me a moment
I'm
ago to
here.
come.
I'm here, Josie.
What? It's like
I'm
all
here.
your name says Quinn. Do you see it, Terrain? Because
I'm
it's
Quinn.
mixed up.
Oh,
All the names are like mixed up, but okay. Okay, there it is.
there
Now it
we
says
go.
that is so bizarre. I've never seen Zoom do that before. Nurse Gerlin is trying to get into. Make sure Quinn, everybody in open phone can get the link to get in. So we transition
Yes.
from one Zoom to another, so it's kind of like weird. But one of the things we just talked about is what exactly is this stuff? What is menopause? Like, how do you even know it's happening to you? Because some of us tend to think it only happens when you're 69 and a half. And we're learning that people are getting the menopause symptoms and perimenopause and things like that as early as their 30s. And some people with medical conditions, I've heard as early as their late 20s, unfortunately. So, what is it? When does it possibly begin? How do you know it's beginning? How do you know what's happening to your body? And then, what are some of the adverse effects of it, the results of it? I had one person ask me just a couple of days ago, like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Don't you just get hot? And it's like, no, this is way more than like just getting hot. So, with some of our specialists, you guys want to introduce yourselves? Because I don't want to be all, telling everybody else's story. So, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves, as I mentioned, nurse practitioner Stacy Hall, she's out of Ohio. She's Ivy Rain Infusion Clinic, and she does a multitude of different things. She sits on a couple of boards and some other things, but she specializes in a lot of the IV treatments, GLP-1 weight loss treatments. So she sees people like me with menopause who have that uncontrollable weight gain. Then we have Nurse K. She's right here in Columbia, Maryland. Nurse K, you have to introduce yourself because some of the things and the resources that you do, I don't even really get all the
Okay.
way yet, but I
Hello.
know she has some amazing solutions. So please introduce yourself.
So, hello. My name is Kay Adigan. I have been a nurse since 1996. So, I've been all over the place. Right now, I'm a certified case manager and have done a lot of things and have experienced a lot. My spa is in Columbia, Maryland. I do GLP-1s, I do body sculpting, but I kind of focus on letting that natural you be the wonderful you want to be. So my treatments are surrounded around that, trying to make you be that beautiful natural person. Um, but menopause has been one of the things that I actually give a talk about, so I am familiar with this and can answer some of your questions as you ask them. Feel free to ask me. All right.
And, and so also we have on the line Terrain. Terrain's one of our licensed clinical social workers. She is in Connecticut.
Connecticut, yes. So if you have any questions about how your mood changes or how your mental health, how that impacts with menopause or perimenopause, I'm here to answer any questions about that.
Awesome sauce. And then we have, look, my better half, Jonah. Hey, Jojo. Introduce yourself if you would, madam. Wait, let me send you the thing where it'll pop up. Okay, there you go. And you can unmute.
Hi, I am Joe, and I am partner other half, Miss Josie's Black Bella Spa. So I've been a massage therapist now for about 7 and 9 years, somewhere in the count. I don't know what, but somewhere like that. And I am overly excited to get in the conversation because I am in the room with the women who have the concerns, and I want to have the answers. I want to know what I am speaking about to a very specific level when the questions are asked. I don't want to feel like, well, and I hear, because right now my information is very, well, and I hear. And some things I understand just because of the, industry I'm in, but I really want to be able to get detailed, and I want us as a brand to be able to expand on it and kind of show up in the industry with the knowledge. So this is personally an interest of mine, and I'm just excited to be on with you all and hear what you all got to share and say.
Thank you, Jojo. And then
Thank you.
and then we have Miss Carolina. She's one of our Academy members and the newest Esty Bestie. So she's joining us today. Carolina, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. So I'm actually oh wow, it's really dark. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have my camera off
Don't
at
worry
this
about
moment.
it.
So at this time, I am a recent graduate from Hair Academy, and I passed my licensing theory and practical within like a week. And so I am a licensed esthetician. I also carry a license as a nail tech. I would say my specialty at this moment is selling products. So I'm currently adjusting and making improvements on how to sell and promote products right now.
Oh, right. And then Miss Janice is one of our longtime clients. So Miss Janice, you don't have to say anything you don't want to. So if you guys have questions, concerns, or something you want to talk about, throw it in the chat and like let's talk about it. Why I wanted to have this conversation was to normalize talking about menopause because as I went into perimenopause, and it was happening to me, I didn't understand that's what was going on. I literally just thought I was drinking too much Red Bull. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm hot because I'm drinking too much Red Bull." I'd get out the shower, sit down at my makeup table, go to do my makeup, and my entire, like, upper lip and everything would be sweating, so I would have to wash my face, get back in the shower, and start my day all over, and I had just adapted to putting a fan on my makeup table and just patching it up and not understanding you are going through it. And then also when I started asking physicians, "Hey, I'm hot, I'm kind of sweaty. I wake up, I'm all wet and cold. What is this? Am I okay?" And then I had a weird thing flare up with the menses and yada yada. I blamed it on everything but menopause because I didn't understand what it was and how it impacted my body. I thought that I had just stayed on birth control too long. I thought that it was stress. I thought it was all these different things. Now, full circle, a decade into it, it took me so much to actually get a doctor that would actually assess me and take my numbers and look at my actual hormone count to say, yes, it's happening to you, kiddo. You are in menopause. Now that I know, like, hey, I'm here, that's what's happening. I'm dealing with all of the symptoms. Forget thinning skin. It's the memory fatigue, it's the brain fog, it's the total exhaustion, it's the change in your pH, it's the all these different things. And as I talk with all these other medical professionals that are in our realm, I understand and learn that we have so many non-invasive solutions for all these different things that'll help to treat the condition and not just the symptom. Because what happens when we go to a doctor is they want to medicate us. Now I did need some antidepressants for that mood thing because I don't know. I was having visions, and so it was real bad. I was like, "Why?"
It gets it gets real.
It gets and then it's like, you know that this is not rational, but you're still there. So, I have
Yeah.
a theory about how a lot of us end up in prison, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, but going through this experience, is isolating. And when you talk about it, everyone goes, yeah, that is happening to me, or my sister has had that too. And it's a weird space because why isn't anyone telling us about it? And then there are younger women who don't understand the implications of not taking care of your skin and your body early so that you can have the softest landing through perimenopause and menopause as, possible. Um, and even with that, talking about perimenopause versus being menopausal and then coming off the end of it being postmenopausal, we don't even understand exactly what that means. Um, Nurse K, do you want to, or wait a minute, Stacey, you're off mute. Why don't you go ahead and explain that journey of the peri versus menopause and all those other things for us,
Yeah,
please, madam?
sure. So, there are three phases of menopause, which are so lovely. And as Josie mentioned previously, there are a lot of myths versus facts out there about menopause. And so, to kind of get started on the three phases here, you first have perimenopause. That is what we consider to be the transitional period of menopause. And during this time, what's going to be happening is periods are going to become irregular. Your hormone levels start to go down. And when I say hormone levels, specifically like your estrogen, and sometimes also testosterone, things like that, your estradiol, things that regulate, okay, keep us regulated, if you will. um, your symptoms start there. What kind of symptoms are we talking about? Symptoms can be anything from increased anxiety, believe it or not. You can have thinning of your hair and your nails, so like different skin changes. We talked about the mood swings and changes. So it's not just a swing. Sometimes there's actual a change, and I'm sure Terrain can speak to that. Sometimes people need cognitive behavioral therapy to change their whole cognitive thinking in itself. Okay, there is tremendous brain fog that is involved in that, and so people think that they're losing it, and it's like, I just went in there to go get my keys, but what did I go in there for? So you hit on something else, Josie, before I move on to the next step, and that is we feel alone in this. And I'm not sure if you guys are big TikTokers. Based among our age spread out here in our group, I would say there are some TikTokers. I became a TikToker, and there's this lovely lady on there named Melanie that came up with a club called We Do Not Care Club, and it is strictly for women going through menopause. There's a couple guys in there that jump in there and give us our kudos, but we're going under fire. Okay, we are really going through the fire with menopause. So after perimenopause or premenopause, we get to the actual menopausal state. And in order to be considered a true menopausal state, you have to have missed a period for 12 consecutive months. Okay. Has to be consecutive. It can't be, oh, I missed it for 6 months and then it started again, because guess what? You started all over and you're just really in perimenopause, is what's happening. Your periods are irregular. So once you have a 12 consecutive month miss of your cycle, then we know that your hormones are even lower than they were at perimenopause. Your symptoms become more noticeable. So then that's when we might start having full blown hot flashes, where before we might have just been getting hot in perimenopause. Now we're dripping sweat. Okay, now we even had a full blown workout, or as I like to call it, my own personal summer is what I'm going through because that's what it feels like. And that again is a regulation of our hormones. What can we do about it? Is there anything we can do about it? Once you are in menopause, you think, okay, how long does this last? It
That
can
part.
last for a long time, like 8 to 9 years. Like the actual menopause phase itself can last that long. So it you know, you're in it for the long haul. Like we were waiting on our menstrual cycles to come. This comes with it. So Lastly is the post-menopausal phase, right? When we think everything is done, this is the years after menopause. Most of the time, women's symptoms that they were having during menopause start to digress. So you should start to feel better, start having less hot flashes. The brain fog should ease up some, things like that. Um, but then you also have to think at this point in time, we do have a risk because we've been, hormonally imbalanced for all these years. We have a big risk with our bones and or heart disease. Okay. So you experience a lot of loss of bone for like calcium and vitamin D during these times because believe it or not, again, we're all going back to our endocrinology system, which it manages all our hormones and things like that. So um, it's important to make sure that we're doing some self care. So, getting some sleep, making sure we're exercising. Like you said, Josie, taking care of your skin while we're in our youth years. Exercise is one of those things, and learning how to eat properly. Because when we do become perimenopause, menopausal, postmenopausal, our metabolism slows down. So we are not able to burn fat like we used to or get rid of those 5 pounds like we used to. And so when you mention the GLP-1s, that's when I do have some patients come in asking if they can have GLP-1s because they're fighting to lose this last little bit of, 10 pounds they were able to get off before pretty quickly. So it's important to talk to people about that. Vaginal changes, like, you might need to use lubricant. You may need to even go see a gynecologist and have a procedure. There are something out there, machine called a Mona Lisa. When I
I think
was
Halle Berry
working
was marketing
in,
that one, the Mona Lisa.
I think she
Yeah.
was, yep, a
And
Mona
so,
Lisa.
and one
They
thing,
also,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to
I
add
was,
to that. One thing people talk about vaginal dryness, but what's crazy for me is the thinning of the
the pain.
walls. See, when you talk about
Yes,
skin on your body, nobody thinks about the skin on the inside of your body.
that is
So
correct.
all of that is thinning and causing discomfort and causing all these other implications. And so I was doing some reading last night, and they were talking about how it changes your relationship dynamics.
It
Nobody wants to do
does.
something that's uncomfortable or hurts. So I
Right.
actually had taken advantage of some hyaluronic acid suppositories and some other resources. I know Nurse K has some amazing resources that I'm like, girl, I might need to be the poster child and get signed up. But it's
Right.
not
Let me
just the
sign up.
dryness that is a challenge. It is the thinning of the walls. And just like Nurse K said
And the
something about
action of it.
hydration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
God. No.
action of the
Yeah.
sexual intercourse in itself. Yeah.
And then on
Yeah.
your
Dr.
face,
Jacqueline from, I think,
the
Made with
Potomac
Medicine.
housewife, yeah,
Uh-huh. Yep. She
she
has
did.
some with hyaluronic acid in it.
I got hers, Revelry or something like that. That's
Yes.
the one that
Revive.
I
I
tried.
think.
I want Nurse K to make sure she doesn't let us forget that part. But I know you were about to
Yes,
say something
please, Nurse
else.
K.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say, please, Nurse K. The only other part that I was gonna mention that I think is very imperative, that we all know about, and that is just for me working in urology and seeing a lot of females come in postmenopausal or during menopause, and they're wondering why they are starting to experience so much urgency or frequency in terms of urination. And believe it or not, again, hormones play a huge factor in that. And so a lot of times women will have an increase in the amount of times they go to the restroom. So frequency. And then if they can hold it as long as they used to. So I recommend doing Kegels, ladies. Just like they said, if you've had a baby before, even if you have not, you can sit at a stoplight and do some Kegels. They're your friends, pelvic floor therapy, things like that. Those are all great things to help kind of combat menopause. And
Amen.
that's my spiel.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for sharing,
Okay.
Nurse Practitioner Stacy.
Yes. Any
And
more
Okay.
questions,
So
let me know. Thank you.
okay, if I could jump in,
yes, please.
a couple of things I want to add to what Stacy says. What I've realized is when I've held a couple of discussions at my spa about menopause, is a number of people that didn't even realize that they were in perimenopausal
Mhm.
stage. And so one lady, her periods were very irregular, like she would go 3, 4 months without having it. And then she didn't know that, and she was experiencing some of these symptoms and didn't even know. And the thing about it is, her doctor never even told her. So when I went over some of the symptoms, she said, "Oh my God, that's me." I was like, "Yeah." So we don't always want to think that people know that they're entering menopause. Like perimenopause usually they say start in the 40s, but it can actually start earlier. It depends. Sometimes medical stuff will make you enter menopause early. Like if you happen to have a hysterectomy or something like that, you would enter menopause earlier than the regular person. I just wanted to bring that up. When you, for all the symptoms that you went over, that is true. What we want to do is talk about how maybe when you're having the hot flashes, one of the things you may want to do is avoid spicy foods. Avoid some of the things that will trigger the hot flashes. Get more stuff, change what you eat. Think about bringing in more stuff like soybeans and chickpeas and lentils and flax seeds and all that in your food if you're experiencing hot flashes like that. Um, there are some when you are entering menopause or when you're having these symptoms, this is kind of like a test for your marriage because part of that you might experience is irritability to your husband, and he is looking at you like, "Who's this woman over there? And why is she gonna look at me like I did something and I didn't do it right?" Like, like we need to have a separate support group for the men who are
Yes.
there so that they can understand what we're going through, right? But besides that, when you're and maybe Terrain can talk more about that part and what we can do if we're going through that or if we know someone that's going through that. For my part, I tell people there are teas that you can drink for the anxiety part. Think about the teas that'll make you help you calm down. A cup of tea, a cup of green tea, and certain teas will ashwagandha will also help you calm down. So think about that, drinking that. Think about taking more long hot baths, relaxing, taking a hour or 2 hours or how much time you need for yourself to bring yourself back down. That's some of the things. For the change in the skin, we need to tell people that come into us or people that we meet about when you hit the 40s, your estrogen levels are going down.
Yeah.
And so your skin will start changing. So the more you do to help your body, I'm all about natural. The more you do more facials and more other stuff that you'll do to help your body build itself from the beginning to wake up that thing that's going to sleep. You want to do that when you're in your 40s and 50s to help your body stay as beautiful as you are as long as you can, right? So start doing some things that you may want to do to encourage yourself to keep on looking good. Because when your skin starts thinning, next thing is you're gonna see the sagging happening. You're gonna see the wrinkles happening, and you're not gonna be happy with it. And in the mood that you're gonna be in, it's just gonna add to what you don't want to have happen. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the vaginal dryness that can happen. Um, the thinning of the walls, actually around your vagina area. For some people it gets darker. There is a particular thing they call lichen. I don't remember the last name, but you can actually see it's not that popular. It don't happen to a lot of people, but it can happen. Little white patches or thinning that'll happen. This other stuff that'll happen is you start going to the bathroom more regularly. You can't hold your pee. All of this is because of this. It's menopause. that can be the trigger. That can be part of what you're going through because of that. There is a product that I have. It's called uh, CO2 Lift, and it's actually something that you can do at home. You
The
mix
O2
it,
lift, Nurse K?
yeah, CO2 Lift. You can put it. What it does, it uses is the CO2. It interacts with your body and helps bring the blood up to your skin, and it actually brings all of the stuff that you need. It hydrates, causes your body to hydrate more. So when you're experiencing the dryness, you take 7 days of these things to begin with, depending on how dry you are, or even if you're having painful sex, even if your vagina is lax. That's the other thing. It can be lax, not as tight as it used to be. This helps get it tighter. And it also will help give you that extra thing for the time that you're doing it. Whenever you're doing it, make sure your husband's close by. I want to say that, or your boyfriend, or whomever, because that will give you that extra thing. Your libido will perk up at that time. And the more often you do it, is the more you won't need to do it as often. So you start off with every day for a period of time, depending on where you're starting, and then you go every 3 days, and then you go once a week, and then you spread it out that way. The more you do it, is you better will get. But it actually helps your vagina get tighter. It helps you with that, and doing the Kegels will
Elasticity.
help you, so that when you don't have to when you laugh, think, oh my God, did I just wet myself or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It will help with the hydration, so it's not dry, and sex will become joy, a thing of joy again. So that's one of the things I tell people about when they're talking about vagina dryness. Not many people like to talk about it. Like, I have to bring it up, and then they go, "Yes, that's me." Like, can I have it? You don't feel like having sex anymore. Like, that's one of the things.
Because it's
Your
uncomfortable. Yeah,
sex
when
drive
nobody
goes
wants to
down.
do something that isn't, comfortable. It's crazy. And then
Yeah,
as you said, your partner is looking at you like, did I do something? Like, did you change? Like, and so I literally read that it attributes to over 60% of divorces. I was
Mm-hmm.
yes,
like, and I
yes.
never thought about that component of menopause. And just piggybacking on what you were just saying, Nurse K, when we talk about the thinning of the skin. So, as we all know, after about 20 something years old, we have a net loss of collagen in our skin. And that's not just your face, it's your whole body. That means you stop producing new collagen and then you start
Mhm,
losing it at the same time. So with your
mhm,
skin, we have things like radio frequency, skin care. You can do retinols at night to help turn over that skin, vitamin C to help rebuild it. We have peptides, just oh my gosh, collagen synthesis, all these things for your skin on your face. So your face is supple, glowing, really nice and plump, but the interior of your body is telling the truth. So there are just so many different things that we can do that will help us to restore inside and out and feel and look better. And one other thing we talked about was with nurse practitioner Stacy was how we have the muscle loss. So like even me right now, I'm trying to get somebody to finance a deep plane and facial to get rid of this joweling. But that Chris Jenner surgery cost about a cool $150,000. So I'm gonna need everybody to order some butt lifts. So buy something, some bean bliss, buy something. But no, but it's like, but you lose muscle toners. This is just a natural part of aging. That's why when we're in the gym and working out, back in the day, everybody talked about running around and cardio. Cardio is not it. We need to lift. And actually most of the health enthusiasts and trainers are saying lift as heavy as you can lift because that is what is going to help to prevent osteo and also rebuild and retone. So for our face, we have things like microcurrents and so forth. Um, I just want us to know that we have alternatives and then it's not always easy. So we have been investing at our spa in things like cross-directional muscle toning, like EMS treatment, so that if you have an injury, if you can't lift weights yet, or it's just not something you want to do, like me, I have tennis elbow now. So I'm like, how am I going to work out with that? We can do actual focused muscle group toning. And all of us have some of those types of services and resources within our spa. So it's pretty cool. So they're just solutions that you can have that are specific. It's like it's in plain sight, but it's almost hidden. But we need to first understand what's happening to us, why it's happening, and then we can wrap around and find solutions for this stuff.
Yeah.
Because there are solutions. You do not have to sit there and feel weird, not feel like yourself, not look like yourself, and in my case, sometimes I smell like myself. I'm like, what is that? Like, this is crazy. Like,
Right.
it's a lot with this menopause stuff. But there are just things that are just right, there for us. Nurse K, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh,
I'm here for questions. I was just gonna go through, like some other things, but I think Terrain can talk more about some of the things mentally that people can do to help
Well,
more than I
what
can.
Okay, so what I was going to talk about is really, I'm glad we're having this discussion because really break down the taboo of mental health, right? Sometimes when we're going through this, it's not, a lot of times we say, oh, I'm feeling crazy, I'm feeling overwhelmed, but unpack that. You're not crazy. You are going through something, your body is changing. And a lot of times we talk, Miss K, you talked about anxiety and depression. One, let's normalize it. It's okay because our bodies are changing. We're not in our 20s anymore, we're not in our 30s anymore, and our bodies are changing. So one of the things I like to talk about is it's okay for talk therapy. Meet with someone, talk to someone about how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, because you are right, your relationships will be changing with your partner and as well as with your children, especially if you're having young children, because again, your mood is changing, you're irritable, you may not want to do the things that you enjoyed doing in the past. So being okay with talking about it. Also, take advantage of what we call the red light therapy, because that also helps with anxiety and to relax you, right? And talk, yoga, martial arts, these are all, dance, music, these are all things that will help us to relax, help us to reframe the negative thinking that we have now on ourselves, because our bodies are changing, our minds are changing, we are not where we were before. And just rephrase it. I like to tell women that we can't hide from this, right? It's going to happen. So we have to embrace it. And how do we embrace it? By normalizing it, letting folks know,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I am going through. Are you going through this? Because, and also, talking about it in social groups, right? Talk to your friends about what are they experiencing. Sometimes it's not also even the emotional part is hard, but also our bodies are changing. Like we are getting aches and pains where we didn't have those before. I remember waking up with a stiff arm. I'm like, what happened?
yep.
And didn't do anything. Come to find out, it's a symptom.
Hmm.
So again, ladies, normalize it. It's okay. We're gonna go through it. We're not, but we need to put things in place. So have a strategy. I like to tell folks, do something new. So working out, the bodybuilding is great because we're doing the muscle, working with the muscles, but also the yoga and the martial arts is going to help to calm you down and help you to center. And that's all I really have to say about it. But again, normalize it. We are going to go through it. If we live to 100, we're going to go through it.
Yeah.
I
Thank
love
you.
that.
You're
I
welcome.
love everything you said.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
And nurse,
think I just want to jump in real quick and just
Yes.
say that I love everything Miss K said and Terrain said, because one thing that is so important for us women is a collaborative, multidisciplinary team. I know that is a long list of words, but it just means all your medical people are talking to each other and they're talking about you and they're talking about the best way to help you, whether that be holistic, which a lot of us like to deal in holistic, or whether it be Western medicine, whatever is best for you. But be engaged in your care and the conversation. Like, don't let or allow them just to talk about you and make decisions for your body without you being present, present in the decision is what I mean.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's a very, 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 very extremely serious point too, because when I was having trouble with my cycle, and I told you guys I was perimenopausal, did not understand that's what was happening to me. I was so busy, I wasn't having a cycle. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just thinking I'm saving money on tampons, like whatever. And then one day I just woke up and it was so bad that I thought I was having a miscarriage. And come to find out, it was my hormones all out of whack. And I was in the throes of perimenopause. When I went into a GYN, she offered me a hysterectomy and then told me it was laparoscopy. Everybody's doing it. I don't have to get the whole thing taken out. She literally went from 0 to hysterectomy, like, and I was like, "Why would you wanna take something out?" Like, I what are you haven't even given me a diagnosis. So when I went back to my internal medicine doctor that I had been seeing for 40 years, since I was a kid or what have you, he was as horrified as I was, but these are the kind of things that we, face sometimes as women of color and certain demographics, and people look at you and try to decide that you may be in another, group of people or what have you. Like, they literally wanted to sterilize me just prophylactically, like, just yeah, just she and then her response was, "Well, if you take it all out, you won't have to worry about it bleeding." Yeah, but you've given me a surgery where you've removed something from my body. And that's another point that I want to talk about too, because when a lot of us are having these necessary surgeries, some of us, it is necessary for safety reasons to have partial and full hysterectomies. When you do that, you go into an early onset, full blown menopause oftentimes. And there are other implications with the structure of your body when you have these surgeries. No one is telling you that you should get some type of post-op lymphatic drainage or do some PT where you have stretching. We have to remember that our bodies are composed of compartmentalized organs and spaces. If you take something out, there's a loose connective tissue inside of your body called fascia where it will pull and fill in that gap in your body. So even though you've taken out something maybe the size of your fist, that's a huge mass or empty space in your body that the muscles and tendons are now pulling and healing and scar tissue and all these other things. So now you end up with lower back pain, a strain on your left shoulder, and you don't understand why. Because there has been a upset or some discord in your actual physical body. But they don't connect that with a holistic, you need to move, you need to stretch, you need to do, things to get the inflammation out and let you heal and smooth out and feel better faster. So just like a nurse practitioner, Stacy said, it's like a holistic, I can't remember the long word she used, but it takes a village of you being engaged, you kind of standing on business and making sure that your voice is heard and dealing with the different medical professionals. Sometimes it's your endocrinologist, it's your internal medicine doctor, it's your GYN, it's the PT person. Oh my gosh, there is so many specialists and things like that that'll help to give you a lot of insight so you can weave together the truth. Because it took me to go from that GYN back to my doctor who likes me and knows me and has been seeing me since I was 18. And he's the one that explained to me there's no real test for menopause, but what I can do is test the hormone levels in your blood and just see. He was like, let's just see. And when it came back, he said, kiddo, it is happening. Your hormones are off the chain. And I was like 41, 42, something like that. He was like, I can't even believe this, but it's happening. So then it made me think, feel, and move differently about everything. So just that part happens. And then, so from the point of just wellness and healthcare, we've talked about so many different things. One thing that I didn't even consider was the heart disease component. Like, we know it's there, but it's like, oh my gosh. And we as women are more prone to heart disease and heart attacks and heart dysfunctions than men. Like, it's just the craziest thing. So we have to be acutely aware of that. I feel like I need to go outside and lift some weights right now. Like, I just feel so guilty. But sugars, caffeine, spicy foods, all of those things spike the symptoms and the results of those heat flashes and things like that. But that just happens to be the stuff that I enjoy most, right? So we have other things that we can do. We have another nurse practitioner, Gerlin. Miss Gerlin is in Boston, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And she has specialties that help with the physicality of menopause as well. Nurse practitioner Gerlin, did you want to speak? You wanted to share anything? She does a lot of the dermal fillers, the Botox, the B12 injectables, all of the laser things. I mean, oh my God. It's like if I knew that aging was going to be this expensive, I would have saved all of my lunch money when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I really would have. No snacks.
Yeah, hi. So for a lot of my clients, we do because most of my clients they come in and they're up there in age just like me in their 40s and 50s. And we all pretty much going through the same thing, perimenopausal or full menopause, where your body's different and a lot of vitamin B12, fish oil, and also magnesium glycinate, to help with anxiety and sleep, all that. Hydration, they're coming for IV hydration. And one of them that we use all the time is the Myers cocktail. It has a lot of different minerals and everything. It does help, but definitely, and when I do talk to them, I feel like most of us go through the same thing, even myself. Before you talk to your lawyer for, thinking about a divorce, if you are married or in a relationship, breaking up and stuff, definitely check, with your doctor or your OBGYN, whoever provider you feel the most comfortable with, and tell them what's going on, because sometimes it's not because you don't love your spouse anymore or you don't love the person that you're with or your kids. It's because you're going through a lot of changes and you're not aware of those changes. So you think that there is something wrong with you. I cannot stand the way my husband is chewing his food. Oh my gosh, like look at him. Why does he look like that? Everything just annoy and irritate the heck out of you. So I really push that because, I went through that myself and I have clients who's going through the same thing. And when I do tell them that, it's it's not your husband. Like I know everything annoy you and you get so irritated and irritable, about your husband. It's your hormone, it's the changes. Please, go speak to a provider, your OBGYN, or have them do some labs and check your hormones out. And most of the time they are going through, perimenopausal or they're in menopausal and it's just a whole mess. And it's like you become a different person that you're not like you feel embarrassed of yourself sometimes the way you act, but you're not alone. There's a lot of women just like you. You just have to find a way to manage it, avoid stressful things and exercise. Also, eating healthy and avoid, certain food and alcohol. And we're all in this together. We can do it.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much, nurse practitioner Gerlin. It's so interesting that you mentioned that. That statistic that I read last night was crazy. I don't even know how I came across it. Over 60% of divorces. I'm like, what? This just is crazy because your
Yeah.
hormones, it's I literally pick and choose what I'm going to engage at this point in my life. You know what I mean? Things are happening around, and I have to use extra. Number one, I am on the Vena something antidepressant. I've been on that for about 2 years. Once my brain fog got to a point where I was in meetings and it was negatively impacting me speaking to people, that's when I knew I needed help. I needed something. I'm like, I know that I know the information in my brain, but I couldn't get it out. And then there was the thing where you run all the way down all three flights of the stairs in your townhouse and you get downstairs and you're like, why am I down here again? And I literally have to go all the way back up there to remember what I came down here for. Oh, because you're thirsty. Really? Like just all those different things. Those are like some of the smaller things that didn't get me in trouble. But I was on a call with this is crazy. Wait a minute, let me see if she's on this call. No, she's not on the call. I can tell you guys. I was on a call with my banker, my underwriter, and my accountant. And one of those people on that call is going through it right now. And when I tell you all, it was the most tumultuous, most embarrassing business calls. Like this person literally lost her mind and I'm sitting there, we're on camera, we're on Zoom just like this. And I was like, don't flinch, just act like this is normal. Like, don't, they can see you. It was just so, I mean, screaming, turning red, voice was pitching. I was like, yo, it's painful to watch. But then when the person came down off of that manic episode, she had to come back and apologize because I was like, sis, I still need this loan underwritten. So I'm gonna need you to get those documents together. So we had to all come back together and kumbaya. But sometimes we don't have that second and third chance. You know what I mean? It was so painful to watch, having known this person for a decade. And I'm like, bro, it's weird because I can see me screaming like that on the inside, but I can't afford to do it on the outside. It's too much going on. But just know that it's not just you. You're not just having like a meltdown. It is a chemical thing. It is an imbalance. It's going on. You'll see your skin starting to sallow. I have wrinkles on my calves that no one pretends they can see but me. Things happen. Also, the bruising, because my skin is drying out now, everything leaves a mark on me, from a brassiere strap to a this. So guys, we have resources. When you go into your TJ Maxx and your Marshalls, you'll notice a lot of the body products now have retinols. Retinol is a chemical exfoliant, just in case anybody didn't. All of you all know what this stuff is. But what retinol does is it helps you turn over that older layer of skin, that outer layer of skin. At our age now, it can take 40 to 50 days sometimes for our skin to turn over, meaning a new, fresh, dewy layer of skin to come out. So as we age, look into things like this. Don't try to buy some of this stuff off of, whatever you guys do. Don't buy. I wouldn't buy any pharma and cosmeceuticals off Amazon. A lot of the stuff is fake. Also, remember what an Amazon warehouse looks like. We don't know if it's temperature controlled properly. The stuff may be rancid and sallow by the time you get it, if it's real at all. Do not buy these types of products over the counter. Talk to someone. Talk to us. Your SC besties. Talk to your nurse practitioners if you have an injectable, things like that. But the retinols will help you on your skin, on your face, and your neck, and things of that sort, to bring up the bright, more luminous skin. On your body, the same thing. We have to exfoliate at the age we are now. It's just, that's why we have been going crazy with the body scrubs. Like my boyfriend even asked me yesterday, why why is the skin on his ankle flaking off? I was like, "Oh my word. I'm not doing a body scrub." So I said, "You just need to go and get a sugar scrub and exfoliate." That's what that is. But it's just a part of aging for humans, right? Um, but I really, again, just wanted us to come together, have a conversation. We have some amazing talent. We have another one of our spa sisters, Dr. Angelia Honore. She's in Louisiana. I actually spent some time with her last month in her spa, and she is a hormone replacement therapy specialist. On our next call, we'll get her. She's probably still working, but she actually does the hormone replacement pellets. Um, so you can get panels done, a blood work panel that tells you exactly what's going on in your body. And I wish she was here, because one of the things that she talks about is how it negatively impacts your liver health and some other things like that. And there are simple HRT therapies and things that we can get to help us with that. And here's another big one, guys: hair loss. We didn't even talk about that. Nobody told me that my edges were bald. So I couldn't believe that you guys had me just walking around looking like that. So we started doing hair restoration treatments, just testing it out. And I had all this hair popping up that I didn't know was even missing. It just thins out. Some of us get from the stress and the anxiety, we get alopecia patches. There are things that you can do with that. You can do microchannel and microneedling. It brings up a bunch of fresh blood and oxygen to the skin that is needed for those follicles to start waking up and reproducing actual hair growth. There are serums that you can use. There's just endless possibilities. I say take the thing one symptom, one challenge, one thing at a time. And then, just like our nurse practitioners and nurses have been saying, always looking inward. Is it something that you can do with movement, with diet, with your physician team and things like that, to help you get to where you need to be? And sometimes you just need to get out the house and, talk with some people who kind of understand what you are going through. That is another big, big thing that can help. And we talked about red light physiotherapy. That's a huge help for me. There's sometimes when I'm just totally melancholy or just super, super fatigued. You can have a red light panel at your house. Like we have the super duper panels here and all these other things, but a lot of these things, you know, my mom always says when you hear hoof beats, don't think zebra, it's just a horse. You might not have to buy a package of all these hundreds of dollars. Some of these things you can have at your home. I have a red light panel in my bedroom, right on the side of my bed. When I need it, I swing it on over and do the thing, set it on a 20-minute timer. Sometimes I wake up, forget it's there, and hit my head on it. But, you know, I swing it back on and go to the bathroom. So those are just some of the solutions. If you guys have any questions, we're almost like right at our time. I don't want to keep you guys on here all night. But if there's some things you guys were wondering, some things you want to know about, some solutions you want, please put it in the chat. And one of our nurse practitioners or nurses or our licensed massage, I'm sorry, or well, yeah, we have an LMT licensed massage therapist. And also with Black Bella, our team, we are also certified in manual lymphatic drainage, which is another great cleansing treatment. And then we have our mental health partner on as well. So if you guys have questions, please, please, please ask away. I would love for us to do this again. This was the first kind of our series. And what I'm also going to do is start to kind of highlight for the pause and glow thing. The word menopause feels so like so like the pause and glow, some of the treatments that I use for this purpose. Because for me, the focal fat comes on my flanks, which are like the love handles, and the back rolls, and my belly. So it's a lot of stuff that I do to try to fight that fat and keep it down. Because I'm just not ready I'm not ready to fold yet. So, you know, that's what it is. And then also saunas, detoxing. It's all about getting the inflammation and things like that out of the tissue in your body. And then also relaxing your mind and trying to easing, you know, balancing you out, not changing anything, but just, you know, giving us some balance and some homeostasis in all things womandom, right? But it's happening, it's going down, it's happening to a lot of us. I love to see those little biddies who don't think it's happening to them. And I'm like, girl, it's happening. I can see it on your face. But but there are things we can do, and we are not alone in this. It is not an isolated incident. You are not losing your mind, you are not crazy. It's just a part of, like we said, easing into womandom. So yeah. And still, having said all the stuff that we said, I still love being a lady. That part. So,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
yes, yes. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to share before we close out? We're like right at the top of the hour. Thank you guys for joining us. I think this was amazing. I had a good time. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to post the recording, and we're also going to link in some of the resources that we talked about, especially Miss K's goodies. So we will see you guys the next time. Thank you. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.